Hi everyone, I'm Rick Beato. In today's episode of Everything Music, we're going to talk about how to write in the style of John Williams. We're going to analyze some chord progressions, and I'm going to show you how you can utilize these progressions in your own writing. Let's get started. The first idea I'd like to talk about is using two major triads that are a tritone apart. In this case, I'm going to use B flat major and E major. I'm going to use a brass sound and show you how you can voice these chords. Okay, so what am I doing there? I'm simply alternating between a B flat major and the E major chord. Let me show you a quick example of how you could use this in an orchestration, very simple orchestration with just brass and strings. That's simply using those two triads. There's no extra tones at all. Another idea using two triads is the idea of using two triads a whole step apart, two major triads, to create a Lydian sound. This is a very common sound you hear in many film scores because it creates an uplifting, ethereal sound. You'll hear it here. So I'm going to use a D triad and an E triad, for example. But I'm going to use it over a pedal tone. So I'm going to use D in the bass. You can also do this in a lower register as well. I can simply do it. Or even lower. That is a great way. Just using two triads, major triads, a whole step apart will create a Lydian sound. I mean, you could use F and G. B flat and C. A lot of times it really works well when you're playing. If I were to do B flat and C, if I play, when I have the sus4 and the third on the C chord, it gives a really, really tense sound. But that idea of using two major triads a whole step apart to create a Lydian sound is very effective. Here's an example from the John Williams Superman theme where he's using these two triads. So what he's doing there is simply outlining the D major chord. So he's playing D, F sharp, A, and then up to F sharp to create that spread triad. And then he's got the E major chord here. He doesn't have the B in it. I don't think there's a B in it. Let me listen here. There is a B in there too. That's a perfect example of those two triads. He uses it all over the place, as do many other film scores. The next example is using a minor and a major triad together. In this case, G minor to E major. Here's an example. You've all heard that type of progression before. So really effective. So it's a minor triad moving down to the major triad, a minor third below. G minor to E major. You could also do from C minor to A major. So here it is. And what I would do is practice that in all different keys. Another example of using two triads to create a particular mood is right here. Listen. Okay, so what is he doing there? Going from C minor, it's got a C pedal, going to F sharp minor. So C minor to F sharp minor. Now we're doing tritones with minor chords. You can do the same thing in another key. Let's say you take A minor and move a tritone away from that. Okay, a tritone away from that would be E flat. So it'd be A minor to E flat minor. So it might be something like this. Really great, powerful sound. So I'm using a pedal point, but I'm using those two minor triads that are a tritone away. You can simply do it in the upper register as well. Let me play it again. Now I'm going to do it with a woodwind sound. Or if I did it with A minor and E flat major, I can do it like this. Another example of using two minor chords would be something like this. Now you'll probably recognize that sound from John Williams soundtracks as well. What that is simply an E minor triad to A flat minor. Okay, so you've got E minor, and you have the common tone in the middle of that voicing. So essentially the two outer voices in this inversion of the chord, it's the first inversion E minor chord, and they contract in, so these outer notes, and the inner voice stays the same. It has a real brooding kind of mysterious sound. The formula for that is a minor triad moving to a minor triad, a major third above. To transpose it to C minor, that would be from C minor and then up a major third to E minor. So check it out. I'm going to use the G as the common tone of it, so I'm going to do it in this inversion. Or you can do it in this inversion, I'll keep my G as a common tone. Or in this inversion. So I'm keeping my G common tone. But I think the strongest voicing actually is when you do it with the first inversion minor chord, where the outer voices contract and the inner voice, which would be the fifth of the chord in the C minor, would be the G, stays as a common tone. That's a much more powerful voice leading, hearing that contract. You can do a lot using simple triadic structures and knowing what types of formulas work well together. You can actually string even more of them together. I can start with C minor, resolve to E minor to G minor to E flat minor, right? And then I could go F sharp minor F major, to B augmented. You should keep a log of these triadic formulas. Which ones sound good to you? Which are ideas that you want to use in your own writing? Also, practice them on the keyboard so that you become familiar with how to move between them and using the proper voice leading. This is going to help your arrangements have a lot of cohesiveness. That's all for now. Thank you for watching, as always. Please subscribe here and at my Everything Music Facebook page if you haven't already. Also, please check us out on Patreon at the link provided. I'm Rick Beato.